And we're live on Facebook and YouTube.
So, welcome to the Awakening Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on awakeningpodcast.org. Today, we're going to be discussing chemtrails, and you find everything about Arnold. Go to braingym.fitness. Find everything about me. Scan the QR code or go to roycollin.com. So, you might as well start it off, Arnold, something that annoys the two of us.
Yeah, let's start with the personal experience. Otherwise, it sounds like a bit distant. I'm here in an apartment building. I'm on the fourth floor, but the fourth level, but a little bit higher up. So I get a pretty good view of the environment and the sky, and I can see. And there's an airport in the city, so I can see planes taking off, planes landing, but quite often there are planes much higher up, and they go back and forth like it's a motorway, and in that way. And when that happens, well, I've had all kinds of things. I've had non-stop tearing eyes, non-stop. In the morning, I go walk for an hour. It looked like I just lost my girlfriend or my dog or whatever. It's like it's nonstop. My tears keep flowing. That fortunately stopped, but now it's like the moment I wake up and I got my window open, my nose starts running, and it lasts approximately an hour. So I have to run every time, well, to the sink to empty my nose because it's running and running and running. I'm not allergic. I've been tested on that a long time ago. I got nothing like that. So it's clearly from the chemtrails. And that's a present I get every day. Maybe you can share your experience.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I've always been one for looking at the stars and the sun, and I've been sun gazing from a very young age. So I don't wear glasses, so I think that kind of stands to me. And that's kind of early in the morning or in the sunset. So I was always paying attention to the clouds, always looking at the shape of clouds and everything. So when I started seeing it here, I'd see the trails and I'd see different types of clouds. And I was like, what's this? And I started recording it. And I've even a Facebook group which I'll include a link in. So
When did it start with you?
I'm not sure. I've seen it a few years, but I seen it really ramped up this year. This year was probably the worst. I saw it last year as well. That I'm not sure exactly when I noticed it. I didn't kind of take notice to the thing. I just knew there was something up. But this year, just the sky is like a reflective. So the sun is reflecting back. And I never wear sunglasses because I think the vitamin D that you get, I don't need to wear sunglasses. I used to when I was, up to 30 or whatever. But when I realized sunglasses aren't the best for you, it never hurted me driving. Some people, they can't drive, they have to have the sunglasses. And then it started hurting me. And I was like, why is the sun hurting me? And I could see then that it was reflective. And I have videos showing it, and you can see it's reflective. And with the freedom of information, they've actually said in the UK, hey, they're doing this for climate change. So they've got reflective material because the earth is heating. So that's not me kind of thinking, it's like I'm seeing that. So then I see the trails. And I've done time lapses. So I went out, I record the flights, they're going along, you see the line, then you see it expanding, expanding, and then there's a whole kind of grey sky. Just recently, last week, and I put it up on my Facebook page. There was about 10 or 20. I sent it, you saw it. There was maybe at least 10, if not more. And then I went to the front of the house as well. And it's like looking at power lines the way and it's just going across the whole sky. And then that just expands and it's reflective. But recently they're really vamping it up. Like I never saw it so bad here. And lots of the kids were sick. I was sick for a while. You saw last week. I'm still not right. And a lot of people that I know have been sick as well. Regarding other countries, when I was in Ireland, I see it. My mother sends me videos of when she's seen it. My brother's living in Eindhoven. They're doing it there really bad. I have friends in Florida. I have one nomad friend And when he's anywhere, he's showing it. Yeah, they're doing it here as well. I went on holidays in Turkey, they were doing it there. I was on holidays in Spain, they were doing it there. This is an international thing. And, unfortunately, some people go, oh, that's contrails. No, it's not. That's the biggest thing. It's like you're attacked saying, put on your tinfoil hat again because of this. And it's like there's people that have tested this. There's people that have come out and exposed it, saying what's in it, tested it. There's even governments now, like it's banned in a few states, and yet we're still attacked. So when I put out stuff, you'll see people laughing and everything. And that's the worst thing. I mean, I don't mind things like that. It doesn't bother me. I never let anyone affect me like that. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people. They're trying to get the message out, and they're attacked, and that hurts them. And then they actually disappear from social media because of that. And that's a sad state of affairs when that's happening.
Yeah, it's even so that it's not even so a month ago, 2 months ago, when officially the UK government has said we're doing stuff in the sky to block the sun. It's a law in the UK, so it's official. So people who are denying it, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and he totally says it's bullshit. I don't believe it. But why do American states then have these laws where they forbid it, and there's a law in the UK who promotes it? Yeah, so if it doesn't exist, so it's yeah, it's really weird. But the kind of conclusion is for you noticing it is quite recent, and for me it is relatively recent, so a few years. Yeah, so yeah, there's other stuff where we've been talking about which we noticed a long time ago. But I found actually in line with our session about to Jep or not to Jep. I love the title. Um, where you shared, was that last week or the week before? It doesn't matter. Where you shared that these vaccine, what was it in 1920s, 1930s? It already started. It's a long time ago. Yeah. What I found about this, so whether it's in a moment I will go into the definitions and what it is, what we're talking about. But what I found is in 1891, more than 100 years ago, there was a patent listed where it says it's a method of producing rainfall. In 1914, another rainmaker patent, they call it. And in 1920, folks, that's 105 years ago, there was an intense artificial clouds, fogs or mists patent in 1920. So this is happening for a long time, but I have not been noticing that. Yeah, so for a long time, they've been manipulating the weather, and that is one of the umbrella term. We talk about chemtrails, but the umbrella term I think is called geoengineering, and geoengineering says there is weather manipulation. That's one thing. That's what these patterns were about. I create rain, I block the sun, we create fog, mist. There's sky darkening, which is happening. So you said about the sun being reflected. That's what they want. Yeah. So like the sun, that's what they approved in the UK. They're also using it for deforestation. Air pollution, it creates air pollution. Why would you and me and other people become sick? Yeah? It's pollution and things happening in the sky which will create fog or clouds or rain. It contaminates the soil. So it has a huge impact. It has a huge impact. What started off as what they mostly now sell as like we got to control global warming. That is the way they kind of sell it to us. But this has been happening for more than 100 years. Hmm? And the weather manipulation, we can see it every day. Like the temperatures are, well, it's not warming or it's not cold or it's too much rain or whatever. Like, I think it was yesterday or something. But throughout, I think, Central and Southern Europe, it's been crazy cold. And there have been, I'm currently living in Romania. There was more than half a meter of snow in the mountain, and people were, because normally the snow would come, well, up in the mountain much later. But the trees haven't, the leaves are still there. But if the snow is there and the leaves, like, they get too heavy, so what happened is these trees fell over and cut down the power lines. So there are many people now here in mountainous regions who get no power. So that is weather manipulation. Sky darkening. Well, I got the lights on. That's because it's dark. Well, it's 4 p.m. It's not supposed to be dark. Deforestation, we don't see, but that is happening all of the time. Yeah, they're killing stuff. The air pollution is what makes us sick. The soil contamination is because in the end, everything goes down in the soil. It ruins our food. The nutrients in our food are less and less and less over the past 50, 60, 70 years. Why is that? Because the soil is contaminated. Because it's in the water. It's like drink some water. Water is okay, but it's not really healthy anymore. So these things are happening not by accident, but intentionally.
Yeah. Even if you look at, if you're eating beef, it goes on the grass, the cows are eating that, it's all going through their system. But like I get a lot of my stuff off the farmer and he's seen it. And, he was even saying when it rains, there's all a chemical goo that he can see. So like that's his land. And it's, the crops aren't growing the way that they are. Prices are going through the roof because they're saying, oh, there's crop failure. It's all orchestrated. And even like we've talked a lot ourselves, we probably mentioned it on previous shows, but the fog, like I think since I'm 18 years in Poland, I haven't seen many fogs, but last year, you remember it, like just constantly, like the fog is there. So that's like they're able to bring it down lower. And the same thing, like you go outside and you're just sneezing or coughing, and it's not a normal fog. Like that was never like that here. But that's not just in Poland. That was where you were as well. You were showing me that's everywhere as well. Like the they're making it look like, oh, that's just the way the climate has changed and all that. No, this is all orchestrated, and it's intentional. You've all these toxins, and we're breathing it in. And no matter what, like there was somebody that didn't believe me with when I was talking about the chemtrails and everything, and then they said like she's living in a kind of foresty area. She said we were told to bring in our dogs, not leave our dogs out because they were spraying to kill the foxes. And it was then the penny dropped for her, like, oh, they're able to spray the forest with chemicals that will kill the fox. Nothing about anything that eats the foxes, the birds, and the cats that eat the birds, and all this kind of thing, a knock-on effect.
Here and
Yeah. So, and like you're breeding it in as well, and like it's going on crops. So, like they're saying, oh, we're doing that to kill the foxes. So, like they can do anything, and it's frightening when you see it like that.
yeah. I just shared one definition of geoengineering, which is one of the leading folks who's been working on this for 20, 30 years. Here I get another from Elena Freeland, who is an incredible researcher, and she says within geoengineering there are 7 operational categories. They're a little bit different than the other ones which I just shared. The similar one is weather engineering, but what you were talking about, she talks about chemical and electromagnetic engineering. That means electromagnetic engineering means, why are you and me and people all over the world sick without any reason? Yeah, so that is electromagnetic engineering. I totally believe that they can do that with the 5G and then the 6 and 7G, what they're building and rolling out. So that's the way they can engineer that. There's planetary and even geophysical engineering. They put stuff high up in the air, like, well, it's not really, but it's like what you said about the reflections, like they put something like aluminum foil into the air so it gets reflected. Eh? Even worse, they're using directed energy weapons, DEWES. They use that on people. They use that on demonstrations. It's with sound. It's with everything. They use it for surveillance and neural manipulation, which is happening now like crazy with the Palantir stuff and everything else. But they also use it in your body. It's like, I'm pretty sure that if our bodies would not have been contaminated with vaccines, with food, with water, whatever, we would not so much be, we would be more immune to those things happening. But because our health and everything, our systems have been partly or totally destroyed, these things have a bigger impact than when you're totally healthy. It's about, well, transhumanism, nanotechnology, digital, but it's also about cloaking, obscuration, and detection of exotic propulsion craft, plasma life forms. So it is part of a much bigger picture, and it's happening for more than 100 years. Yeah, so that is the frightening part. Is like I can say, oh, I was kind of healthy and I didn't have these problems. Well, Roy and myself, we're in touch a lot, and we know when one is sick or the other one is sick. But before that, I couldn't even remember when I was sick. That must have been 30, 40 years ago. So in the last year, I've been so sick so many times. Why is that? And we both eat healthy. We both exercise. We both have a healthy lifestyle, everything around it. So why are we sick now? And I'm not the only one. I just shared a few days ago with you a picture standing people outside in line outside of the door of a pharmacy to get in. So that is ramping it up. It's not that it didn't exist, but they're ramping it up. And I think your body in the way of dealing with this shit is like it becomes just too much. And I can fairly assume this has been going on all of my life. So
With the older stuff, I've seen videos of the older planes and they do the clouds and you see it like a blanket. And so, I mean, I have seen videos of that. Um, I talked previously about the movies, so I was kind of checking. It's more documentaries. What in the world did they spray in 2010? Why in the world did they spray in? Another one, and Toxic Skies 2008. And my mother watches a program. What's it called? Where in the World? It's a place in the sun, I think it's called. And this is probably 2010 or something like that. She's saying, I can see the chemtrails now in them videos. But we don't know, were they there then and we didn't see it? Or have they put them into the videos? Because Disney, there's people they're doing that. They're manipulating videos to put in the chemtrails. And I spot it straight away in any movie or series. I'm like, look at this. They're making it look normal. So people then don't think anything bad about it. So most of the stuff you see these days now with the green screens, the skies are all with the chemtrails. So people think that's a normal sky. And it's not. It's all trickery again.
and they got I just checked this morning. They got powerful. It's not only planes where they're spraying and everything. It's much more. And one of the main, I think, tools what they're using is a tool which is called, well, HARP,
Harp, yeah.
HAARP.
Yeah.
And HARP, I checked out. It says it's something located in Alaska in the US and it was established in the 90s. 90s, that's 30 plus years ago, by the US government primarily for ionospheric research. Its main instrument is a powerful transmitter that sends high frequency radio waves into the ionosphere, a layer of the Earth's atmosphere ionized by solar radiation. It's an extremely powerful tool. That's why they put it in Alaska and not near
It's
New York.
actually in more places because
Yeah,
Jesse,
yeah.
the body Ventura, was talking about it's in Norway, it's in China. There's probably more we don't aware of. I thought it was just in the States, but it's in a few places.
Well, I was going there. It's like a year ago, you were in Valencia. Yeah? Was it a few days before
It was
when there
like a
was a
week
huge
later or
flood?
something like that. Like, yeah, the big
There was
flood, yeah.
huge floods. Many people died. Many people lost their homes. People drowned. I mean, but in the harbor there was a ship with the HIARP installation
I
on it.
remember. Yeah.
Huh? And these floods in the southern part of Spain in October is not normal. It's totally not normal. Huh? So what I could find is they say it might be a global secret program manipulating the weather and environment, and that everything contains harmful chemical or biological agents. In combination with that HARP stuff, it it becomes bio warfare. Yeah, so it not just like no, it's good for the harvest or whatever. No, it's impacting everyone, and that's why they control weather, mines, diseases on a massive scale. That is what we see. So these are not innocent things, or it's like, oh, we get the climate change is not good. It's all BS, and it's like we're getting sicker. Well, both of us are. Yeah, it's like it. There's no natural cause. Let me put it like that. Maybe there's even never, but that's another story. But it's like these things are intentionally being done and intentionally to have an impact, which the goal, so it's not even a consequence with it did not intention. No, it is the intention to hurt us and to make our immune system and our health suffer. So it's not like, oh, we didn't know that. Huh? It's the same thing with the jab now. Yeah, it's like people, no, it's safe, you can use it, whatever. And now all the reports are coming out. It's like, yeah, we kind of know. Yeah, it's new. Yeah, so it's like, but that's the same with all of that stuff. It's the intention, it's not a consequence.
There's no country coming out stating, hey, we're doing this because they know they'd be liable. And there's no person or so there's pilots that are doing this. There's the chemical providers doing this, but there's somebody else that's pulling the strings and organize it. So there was a few states, and I know we've touched on it before, but I remember the first one, like this Tennessee, Louisiana, and Florida. So there's the US state legislation 2425, several US state, I think there's 12 now at the moment that they're advancing bills with it on banning or restricting it. But I remember when I was with the Tennessee, because it's my pet peeve. It's like, I mean, you go to McDonald's, that's on you. You smoke, that's on you. You take all medication, that's on you. But when they're doing that, I have no control over that. So that I was like, how do I stop this? And when I was doing the research, how did Tennessee ban it? It was all, oh, conspiracy theory. They kept knocking it on all social media searches. Yet it was true. I got the actual documentation for it. What I'll actually do is in the show notes, I'll include it, the details of the senators that got it passed and everything. But you've got like Florida now as well. You know they've said we're doing it, and even the U.S. government have said, hey, they've got something like 500 scientists that approved this. So they're trying to ban it. But yet, over Europe, it's like, that's why I think they've vamped it up. I think they know it's coming to an end. But at the same time, nobody will be liable again because you can't point the finger to say, oh, this was all on, say, Ursula von der Leyen or somebody like that. They've decided they're the ones in charge. It's not. Nobody takes responsibility. You're dealing with the government or the Rockefeller Institute or something like that. There's never, and it's a case of peeling off the layers. If we had proper journalists and media, you could easily find out. Like, I mean, there is whistleblowers. They could find out. They can get the information. I've seen military people coming out and actually claiming that they saw the chemicals that were being stored, and they were like, these were all warning signs on it. So there's people that have come out and said this. There's actually people come out and said they've worked with the NSA and everything and stating how dangerous this is, and they've got confirmation, 100% proof that they're doing it. So the problem is nobody's taking responsibility. It's the only way is proper journalism that takes off the layers and starts going, okay, we know the pilots, who's instructing you, go to the next layer, military, who's instructing you. And then you find out who's pulling the strings, because there's always one idiot at the top that has decided this, or a group, whether it's the Bilderberg group or whatever. I don't know who's actually doing it. You know, there's people that are pulling the strings, and billions of people are sick because of it.
Yes, I heard even it was taped, it was recorded by a mother, a parent, because she lived in rural US, and she could see the spraying and it impacting the food and the health of her children. So she got totally pissed off, and she find everything out, and she even went to the airport because she found the registration number on all these planes. So she went to the log and to the airport. So she well, the guy didn't know it, but she recorded and talking to one of those guys. But well, it's clear they make much more money than an average pilot, so they don't want to lose their job, and they were frightened as hell. So it's like they just said, it's just my boss told me, and I'm doing what my boss tells me. Hmm? That's it. So she didn't get any names, she didn't get any procedures. So it was just like, yeah. But then she started talking. It's like, hey, you are spraying poison in the air, but your children and your wife are also breathing it in. What do you think about that? Uh, uh, uh. That's why I say, unfortunately, people's common sense, people's intelligence, I've been saying that on many podcasts, is declining so rapidly. Like, hey, idiot, you're impacting your family and your friends and everybody else as well, because the sky doesn't discriminate. How does that work? Even if you're Gates or Zuckerberg, whatever, you breathe the same sky as you and me, or the government folks or the military folks. So why don't you care about what's happening there? Because it impacts you, your children, your dog, whatever. Isn't that weird? Or are they so stupid that they think, well, it won't hurt me or something like that?
I think just loyal to the dollar. Unfortunately, that's the problem with society. Most people are loyal to the dollar. They don't care about humanity. They don't think about the bigger picture.
Yeah, but they're not even thinking about their own health and of their children and their families and everybody else. Huh? So again, folks, these things, we're not making this up. Yeah? There are people who've been inserted, like we said, it's more than 120 years already happening. It's confirmed, the document, the people who done the research. This is real. This is impacting all of us. So it's not conspiracy theory. It's conspiracy fact.
And all the patents, there's a load of patents
That's what
on
I
it.
just said. The first one, 1891. 1891. Yeah? That's 134 years ago. No, I wasn't born then. Yeah, so it's like, so it's really, this has been going on for ages, and people are just continuing. But yeah, it's like the loyal to the dollar or just fear, because people registered, oh, a patent to influence the weather. Fine. Okay, approved. What are you doing? So it seems like we're in a stage that me and my friend call the people in power the strings. Yeah, you use the word. Yeah, it's like the strings. They can just do whatever they want, and it seems that nobody cares. Yeah? And what we're trying to do in our conversation is to say, no, it's not normal. No, you shouldn't accept it. It impacts you on every level. So, and especially well, in your case, it is the case. Like if you have young children, if you, it's like it's terrible in the world in which they grow up, and it's not healthy. So it will have an impact in 10, 20 years. So it should stop. We should no longer accept that these things are happening. And it's reality. It's not just a fiction or a bunch of lunatics. No, it's been proven everywhere. And why are there laws? Because you trust the government. Why are there laws in the US, in the UK, whatever, if it doesn't exist?
So I think it's just a case of awareness. Don't accept it. Keep talking to people. And like you can do the freedom of information. I mean, there's people we've got that on the thing. So maybe do it in your own country and everything. Get the freedom of information. Talk to your local councillors and TDs, the mayor. That's all you can do. Go for individuals. Individuals is the only way to do this. You can't go government as such because it's an
Yeah,
entity.
but also these pilots, they live somewhere. They got neighbors. They got family. Speak to them personally and make it clear that they're also poisoning themselves.
Yeah. So I suppose that's the end of the doom and gloom, but awareness is the most important thing. So you'll find everything about Arnold on braingym.fitness. You'll find everything about me, rycon.com, or scan the QR code. And until next week, we'll have a different team next week. We're not sure yet what we're going to do, but we'll let you know during the week. Take care.